This is a stream avatar studio PixelTuber. It can do things like this. My name is Captain Flasky Boy, and I'm a tired mid-level developer who is going to teach you how to build epic PixelTubers for your content. Stream Avatar Studio is a Windows desktop app for creators who want an animated avatar instead of showing their face on YouTube, streams, shorts, tutorials, or screen recordings. The user loads audio, speaks live into a mic, or enters streamer mode, and the avatar lip syncs using embedded pixel sprite frames. Throughout this guide, I'll also show you all the ways you can use an avatar to get more views, build your brand, and protect your privacy. And with that, let's jump right into the tutorial. The first thing you'll want to do is head over to my coffee shop and download the free SAS Avatar Template Pack. This pack includes several Piskel project files. Piskel is a free open-source pixel art and animation editor. It's lightweight, runs directly in your web browser, can also be installed locally, and is perfect for creating pixel art and animations for content creators. Next, extract or unzip the template pack. Inside, you'll find 3 Piskel files, along with the complete project files for the Captain Flasky Boy pixel avatar that we'll be working on throughout this tutorial. You'll also find an executable file. This is the Avatar Pack Builder. We'll be using this tool later to package our finished avatar. Just a quick note, when you extract the template pack, you will need a password, which you can find under the template pack description in the shop. Next, open Piskel and load one of the template packs. My recommendation is to start small by creating a simple Gumball avatar first. However, for this tutorial, I want to show you what the software is really capable of, so I'll be building a full SAS avatar. You can load a template pack by simply clicking Import Piskel File and selecting the template you want to open. This will become the official face of the channel and the avatar I'll be using in future videos. At this point, you're probably thinking, why should I bother animating or building an avatar myself? I can just ask AI to generate a few static images. While that's certainly an option, speaking from experience, the avatars that truly connect with an audience are the ones that have a personal touch. Taking the time to create something unique helps your avatar reflect your personality, making it more memorable and giving your audience something they can genuinely connect with. Okay, so let's get to work. Originally, I planned to convert the ragdoll template into a Captain Flasky Boy character, but I just couldn't get the look I wanted. Instead, I started from scratch and went with a more blocky, cartoon-style design. But before that, I put together a color palette using elements from the designs I created over the first few months of my content creation journey. This helps keep the character consistent while building on ideas I've already tested. Now, let's talk about the blocky character design. This is the 3rd iteration of the Captain Flasky Boy character, and for this version, I'm focusing much more on facial expressions, especially larger, more expressive pixel eyes. If we look back at the previous designs, you'll notice I used simple, solid eyes. They worked well enough, but I found they didn't translate particularly well to YouTube thumbnails. Thumbnails rely heavily on clear, exaggerated facial expressions to grab attention, and subtle details can easily get lost at smaller sizes. That's why I decided to redesign the character with a larger, blockier face and much bigger eyes. This gives me far more flexibility when creating different emotions and makes the avatar much more expressive and recognizable at a glance. Another feature many content creators want is the ability to switch between different emotions and poses. Unfortunately, this is often treated as an afterthought during the design process. That's where the free Piskel templates come in. I've already created a wide range of facial expressions, emotions, and poses that you can reuse or build upon, hopefully making it much faster to develop your own avatar. However, even with the templates, it still took me around 2 days to create my current pixel avatar. But by putting in the effort up front, you'll end up with a robust avatar that's ready to handle whatever your content creation journey throws at you. Okay, so once you've finished your animation cycle and created all the different emotions, expressions, and poses you want, it's time to revisit and launch the Avatar Pack Builder that came with the template pack. But before we can do that, we first need to export our newly created animations as a sprite sheet. Since we're planning to use this sprite with the SAS tool, I'll export the sheet at 512 pixels. This helps ensure the avatar displays correctly and keeps the pixel art looking crisp and sharp. Using the APB tool is really straightforward. There are only 4 steps. Import your sprite sheet, slice it, choose an app icon, and export your avatar pack. Let's start by importing our sprite sheet. Once it's loaded, the APB tool will slice the sheet automatically, and you should see each animation frame displayed on screen, ready to be assigned. If your sprite sheet uses a different layout, or you notice that some of the frames are cut off or split in half, simply adjust the slice cell width and slice cell height until every frame lines up correctly. Now, if we take a look at the panel on the right, you'll see 2 tabs, Assign and Playback. Click on the Assign tab, and you'll be presented with a list of compatible sprite states. Right now, we're working on the default normal state, so select the sprite state normal. Once you do that, the scroll box will populate with all the PNG files required for the avatar's default animation state. All we need to do now is assign the correct animation frame to each slot. If you're a technical content creator, or you've worked with sprite sheets before, you're probably wondering why I built a tool that splits a sprite sheet into individual frames. If there's enough interest, I'll make a separate video explaining the design decisions behind it. The short version is that not every SAS avatar pack contains the same number of animation frames. By separating the sprite sheet into individual images, the tool can support avatars with different animations, frame counts, and future expansions without forcing every creator into a fixed sprite sheet layout.
Sir, I was reviewing the APB tool, and I couldn't help but notice that Idle Image 3 and Blink Animation 2 are still unassigned. I'm sure this was part of your master plan, wasn't it?
Okay, let's stop for a moment and talk about what just happened. What you just saw is a great example of how you can use a SAS pixel avatar in your own content. I used it to interrupt the tutorial, break up the pacing, and draw your attention to something important. The avatar stepped in and delivered the message in a way that was more engaging and memorable. Moments like these help keep viewers interested and reinforce key information without feeling repetitive. Creating the effect was actually very simple. I just pressed play in the SAS application, recorded the output, and imported the recording into CapCut. From there, I used CapCut's built-in crop and chroma key tools to remove the yellow-green background. Everything else, including the sound effects and visual effects, was created using CapCut's standard editing features. If you'd like a more detailed breakdown or a dedicated video explaining exactly how I created this effect, let me know in the comments below. If there's enough interest, I'll make a full tutorial covering the entire process. Alright, back to the APB tool. Let's assign the frames for the normal sprite state so you can see how everything works. First, I'll assign frame 1 to normal idle1.png and then frame 2 to normal idle2.png. Now, if we switch over to the playback tab and play the idle animation, you should see our pixel avatar sitting in its idle state. Next, let's assign the blink animation. Since this avatar only has a single blink frame, I'll assign frame 3 to normal blink1.png. When we play the animation back again, the avatar should blink naturally. Another useful feature of the APB tool is that the same frame can be assigned to multiple animation states. For example, frame 1 can be used as the starting frame for the normal, small, and large talking animations. This means you can reuse animation frames wherever it makes sense, saving both time and effort when building your avatar pack. Let's move on to step 3, the app icon. All we need to do here is choose a frame from the sprite sheet that you think best represents your avatar. This image will be used as the application's icon. Remember, every SAS avatar is packaged as its own unique custom pixel avatar, so it needs an icon to identify it. I normally choose one of the first couple of frames, since they're usually the clearest representation of the character and help keep the overall package size down. Now we move on to the final step, exporting the avatar pack. Before you click export, make sure you've selected an appropriate output folder. It's also a good idea to give your pack a meaningful name. For example, I've named mine CFB Avatar Pack. Once you're ready, click Export, assign the animations you've configured, and generate your completed SAS avatar pack ready to use with the SAS application. Once you've generated your sprite pack, compress it into a password-protected zip file before sending it to me. If you can't think of a password, just use SAS. It keeps things simple and makes it easier for me when I'm bundling your avatar with the SAS application later. To compress the files and add a password, I recommend using the free tool 7-zip. Now head back to my coffee shop and click on Commissions. You're looking for the commission called Bundle My SAS Avatar. At the moment, the service starts at just £2. Scroll down and click Request This. You'll be taken to a page with a few instructions, which mainly remind you that you'll need a completed SAS avatar pack or sprite sheet before requesting this service. Although the description says it doesn't include any major tweaks or changes, if you ask nicely, I probably won't say no. Coffee also lets you decide how much you'd like to pay. The current minimum is £2, but if you feel the service is worth more, you're welcome to support the project with a higher amount. Next, fill in the commission details and upload your SAS avatar pack and sprite sheet, just like I've done here. Enter the amount you'd like to pay, click Next, accept the terms, and proceed to checkout. Since this is a brand new service, if you're one of the first people to try it, I'd recommend including an email address just in case I need to contact you about your submission. And with that final step, we're done. My goal is to have your pixel avatar bundled and ready within a couple of days. I know that's been a lot of information in a short amount of time, but if you've made it this far, I'm hoping you can now see the value of a tool like this. The best part is that you've already seen it in action throughout this tutorial. I've used my pixel avatar to interrupt the video and highlight important information, to bounce ideas back and forth through conversations, and to add a bit of personality and humor along the way. Most importantly, it's given my channel a recognizable face while allowing me to protect my privacy. Instead of appearing on camera, I can let my avatar represent me. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you've made it this far but you're still not sure about creating your own avatar, I also have a selection of pre-made SAS avatars available, which you can purchase for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Going forward, I'll be creating a small series exploring how you can use virtual avatars in your content. We'll look at some of the common mistakes creators make, how you can use pattern interrupts to keep your viewers engaged, and some of the editing tips and tricks I've picked up over the past year of creating content. So, with that said, I'll leave you with this small Gumball example. Enjoy!
Hello, I am here to audition for the lead role of Gumball. Welcome to my channel. I'm an example of what you can do with the right tools. I can be angry or mad. I can be
clock cycles in a tight scheme. 13 minutes of the build state. Data flows at a rapid rate.
the right tools. I can be angry or mad. I can be very, very sad.
Logic gates open in a row. Watch the bits begin to flow. No corruption.
Very, very sad or upset. Or I can freestyle and go off script. I can even go into strict.
I can freestyle and go off script. I can even go into streamer mode. Promote my shop. I can grow. I can shrink. I can become very, very small. And I can move around the screen.
I can become the face of your channel. And I am cheaper than a cup of coffee.